producing me. I'll be back shortly.
News, sports, entertainment, top 100 music on your Remedy Radio dial. Solutions 93.9.
Do not touch that dial.
This is the Roundup. Presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has described the 2023 presidential election as the worst conducted in the history of Nigeria and a setback to the democratic process. Obi, who made the comment when he featured on a televised program this morning, said the huge amount budgeted for the election, the exercise did not yield to expectations.
The most important thing is to stay on course. And for me, I'm on course on this because we've seen probably what I consider the worst election in our recent history because of the electoral law of 2022, which gave so much hope and the huge expenditure we put into technology. You know what it means, spending over $1 billion, 400 something billion. So there was so much that was promised. And then we went back to where we used to be. I'm not hurt personally, I'm not starting personally, but I am for my country and the future. It portends for the young ones and the future generation. Because we can't go on this way. We must build a better place. We must bequeath them a better place. It is about the future of the society.
The former Anambra State Governor, who is currently challenging the outcome of the presidential election result, which placed him third behind Atiku Abubakar of the PDP and the winner Bola Tinubu of the APC, also called on electorate in the country to avoid voting blindly in the Saturday governorship and State House of Assembly polls. A civil society group and one of the election observers in the 2023 polls, Yaga Africa, has appealed to the electorate to be more patient in the Saturday governorship and State House of Assembly polls. The second phase of the general election, which was scheduled for 11th of March, got rescheduled by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, due to the reconfiguration of the Bimodal Voter Accreditation System, BVAS. Director Program Yaga Africa, Cynthia Mbamalu, in an appeal this morning while featuring on a monitored televised interview in Abuja, said, to have a better governorship election this Saturday, INEC must improve on the communication strategy with Nigerians and observers, including early commencement of the polls, and avoid a repeat of the February 25th polls.
INEC has that responsibility to rebuild trust. And I wish the Commission had invested a lot in communication post the presidential elections, at least hosting press conferences and hosting engagements to provide clarification on some of the challenges and update the people on steps taken to address those challenges ahead of the governorship elections. Provide updates on their plans for the elections, logistics especially, ensuring that we have early commencement of polls, sufficient deployment of materials, and that the technology works. Both of the technology, so the BVAS and the INEX result viewing portal. However, for voters, I also think we need to, we have that responsibility to come out and vote. Like I said, the numbers for presidential elections were really poor, but we hope that for these elections, Nigerians understand that these state elections are really important. It determines development at the state level. We need governors that can build states that are economically viable. These days, we have states that are struggling, and we can only do that when we vote right. We cannot win if we keep quitting, and I believe that for these elections, we need to turn out in our numbers and vote in the people that we believe would represent our interests in government.
Recall, INEC in different states on Wednesday commenced distribution of electoral materials to local governments with state agents and security officials on ground. And back home, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has approved a half-day for civil servants in the state on Friday in preparation for Saturday polls. The approval, according to a circular signed by the Secretary to the State Government, Mrs. Olubanwo Adeosun, is to enable civil and public servants in the state who may wish to travel to perform their civil responsibilities to do so. A statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Taiwo Adisa, indicated that workers are expected to close at 12 p.m. with only those handling essential duties expected to remain at their duty post. The Department of State Services (DSS) has arrested 2 suspects over comments aimed at inciting violence in Kano State ahead of the Saturday governorship and State House of Assembly elections. The public relations officer of the DSS, Mr. Peter Afunanya, who disclosed this in a statement, said the suspects, Sharu Abubakar and Ishmael Magu, separately recorded messages and shared on social media in which they were championing certain political interests and calling on their supporters to attack those opposed to them, as well as security agents during the March 18 polls. Afunanya stated that following the arrests, supporters of a particular political party in the state are threatening to organize a protest march in the metropolis today to storm offices of security agencies in solidarity for the suspects. And that's the roundup.
939 is the dial.
It's happening in the city of Ibadan.
Ìpàdé orin.
Yes, so now the volume 2 of Ibadan Community Hymn Singing 2.0, a testimonial concert we go shele on Sunday 19th of March 2023. Come and experience 90 minutes of hymnology session like never before. The venue na Emmanuel Anglican Church, we dey for Ikotedo Salvation Army Road, Ibadan. Time na 4 p.m. Make you no miss am at all. Fún àlàyé àti ìbéèrè, ẹ pè sórí 0803 828 5046. Olùgbàlejò ní Babátúndé Ọlápàdé. Ibadan Community Hymn Singing 2.0. Àjọ máa wà ń bẹ̀.
Mọ Jésù yóò tán ìmọ̀.
Aládé, ìjọ ọmọjọ́ tẹ́rù ọmọráyé ti ń bà mí.
Ọjọ́ wo ni?
Ọjọ́ tí wọ́n ti ní kí wọ́n fáwọn ní báràbà olè ṣùgbọ́n kí wọ́n kan Jésù má gbélébù. Tí wọ́n tó gbìmọ̀ pọ̀ lé ànábì mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ kúrò ní Mẹ́kà, wọ́n wá ń gbé sẹ́ńtẹ̀ yìí lárugẹ. Ọjọ́ náà lẹ̀rù ọmọráyé ti ń bà mí.
Làákó yé mi.
Ó dà, ìgbà tẹ́nìkan fẹnu ara rẹ̀ sọ pé olè kì í lọ sóko ẹ̀ẹ̀kan kó síwọ́. Táwọn èèyàn kan tó wá lò náà ní ká dìbò fún. Ìyàtọ̀ wo ló wá wà láàárín àwọn àtàwọn tó béèrè fún báràbà olè?
Àsámọ̀ rẹ̀ yé mi. Ó wá yẹ ká ti bi ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ kọ́gbọ́n nígbà náà. Ẹni tí yóò ṣèlú ṣayé lóore fi wá lọ́kàn balẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ìdàgbàsókè tòótọ́ ní ká dìbò fún nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ tó mọ bá a ṣe náwó tówó fi fùnà tó sì ti ṣàlàkalẹ̀ àwọn ètò tó lè sọ ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ dolókìkí. Káwa náà ó ṣàfarawé ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó ká dìbò fẹ́ni tó lọ́gbọ́n tó lóye tó mètò tó sì tún mẹ̀tọ́. Adébáyọ̀ Adélabú ni ká dìbò fún. Iwájú àmì àtàpàkò látẹ̀ka sí. Ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú àkọ́ọ̀dù la yàn láàyò. Ká fọwọ́ ara wa tọ́ra ara wa ṣe yóò ju wa ṣe o.
Keep it 93.9.
Nigeria go survive. Nigeria go survive.
Yes, you remember the doomsday prophecies of 2015. I remember Nigeria will disintegrate. This is going to happen. But all those doomsday prophecies never came to be. And here we are, 8 years after conducting national elections again. We're done and dusted with the national elections to the National Assembly and the presidency. We are now down to the last election, which is the gubernatorial and State Assembly elections. Yes, we took the political roundup and we had the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, former governor of Anambra State, claiming that the presidential election and the National Assembly elections is, according to him, the worst conducted in Nigeria's recent history. Nigerian politicians, when things don't go their way, it is the worst election. Even when they go to the court, I mean, it's a miscarriage of justice. When judgment comes their way, I mean, they hail the judiciary. Honestly, for anyone to call the last elections that were held on 25th March the worst conducted in Nigeria's recent history is mere, honestly, delusions. With the deployment, no matter what happened after, with the deployment of technology, specifically the BVAS, Bimodal Voter Accreditation System, that prevented a lot of shenanigans, a lot of electoral shenanigans. And of course, the court will still determine wherever, like we saw in Oshu, wherever the accreditation, the number of those who are accredited to vote, and the votes that were recorded do not tally, especially when it is above the level of accreditation, the election will certainly be nullified. That bridge alone, that barricade alone, that has been erected between the politicians and the processes has counted to be a positive. Yes, INEC committed errors of judgment. When we saw, I remember I saw Peter, the gentleman, the National INEC Commissioner for Voter Education, when he started coming up with issues that, well, we have been doing staggered elections, we have not used the IREV and the portal on this massive scale, so there are bound to be hitches. Of course, I knew that they were hiding, facts from us. But hard facts has now emerged that during the presidential elections, there were at least according to the federal authorities, about 12 million attacks, 12 million cyber attacks on Nigeria's government cyber infrastructure during that period. And of course, about 6 million of it was directed at the INEC cyber infrastructure. Of course, to protect, you will say yes, they could have protected it effectively, but when you come under a barrage of attacks like that, it is not an easy thing. Believe you me, for Peter Obi to say it is the worst, we remember in 2007 when we heard the do or die, in which even the recipient of that mandate admitted publicly that the election that brought him into office was deeply flawed. For Nigerians, for Peter Obi now to roundly condemn the elections that were held on the 25th as the worst Nigerian citizenry is wide off the mark. There were, slips and errors here and there, but I mean, that's not very, very tidy. Well, that's that for Peter Obi and his observations. And the elections we're going to be having on Saturday, the governorship and the state assembly elections, they are delayed by 1 week by the umpire, INEC itself. INEC went to the appeal court to request that they wanted to reconfigure the BVAS, that's the Bimodal Voter Accreditation System, for the elections of the 18th. And when they sought that court permission and got it, it was rather late. We're talking about 176,000 to 200,000 BVAS that has to be reconfigured nationwide in a 1 million square kilometer space. So that's why that postponement had to occur. Of course, INEC, we believe, I sincerely hope is now ready for that particular election. When I return, we would be taking a very critical look at the coming elections in Oyo State. Where is Oyo State coming from? Where are the candidates coming from? Where are they located? Where are they likely to head? And of course, the electorate. The electorate is critical. I remember I had cause to ask one of the senatorial candidates, then senatorial candidate, who is now a senator-elect, say, what is the difference between this election and the previous elections that we have had in this country, especially in Oyo State, in which you once won a senatorial seat? He specifically told me that then, way back then, in the 90s, all they needed to do was to see the gatekeepers, the godfathers. Maybe somebody held sway from Molete to Okebola. You go and see the gatekeeper there. You just give him all the logistics. You provide him with all the logistics, and he will deliver the votes. Maybe somebody held sway from Challenge to the whole of Ring Road. You go and see the godfather there. You give him all the logistics. He will deliver the votes. But he told me that this time around, yes, they still go and see those gatekeepers. But the fact is that they know that the votes, the power of the vote now belongs to the people. And what is making that possible? It is the beavers. The beavers has become a barricade to the political actors in their shenanigans to secure power. Well, when I come back, we'll talk about all of that and much more, Oyo State specific. Do stay tuned.
Inefficiency and indiscipline is ruining the country now. Corruption here, there, and everywhere. Inflation is soaring high. Let's save Nigeria so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh, sure, sure. I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. We made mistakes during the oil boom, not knowing that was our doom. Some people now have everything, while many have
Thank you so much for staying with us. Which way Nigeria is heading to? Which way is Oyo State heading to on Saturday the 18th of March 2023? Solutions 93.9 FM is the station, of course. Political Update is the show this Thursday afternoon. Today is the last open day for campaigns before those elections. By midnight, today's Thursday, open campaign is no longer allowed. Of course, people will continue to do their house-to-house campaign. While in Oyo State, in 2019, Governor Seyi Abiodun Makinde was selected by the people of Oyo State to govern them for a tenure of 4 years. That tenure of 4 years will lapse on the 29th of May. Midnight 28th May to 29th of May. That tenure will last. And of course, an election has to be conducted to put another person in office, either to re-elect the incumbent or to elect another person. And of course, that decision rests solely with the people of Oyo State, specifically with those who have their voters' card, and of course, those who will be going out to perform their civic responsibility and duty on that day. Of course, the governor has been going around campaigning, touting his achievements. He says when he was coming into office, he had a template which was tagged accelerated development, roadmap for accelerated development of Oyo State, and that people could hold him to account on the basis of that. But of course, the governor has ruffled political feathers. It was a coalition that brought him into office then. I remember the linchpin of that coalition then was Senator Rashid Adewolu Ladoja, former governor of Oyo State and the Otun Olubadan. No sooner than that government came into place did that coalition unravel. And of course, as an elder statesman and very senior citizen, and not a man of many words, you will not ordinarily hear Senator Rashid Adewolu Ladoja go to town talking. But of course, people like BC Olokpo Eniyan in Ibadan, of course, the same local government with the sitting governor, people like former House Leader Honorable Mulikat Adeola in Ogbomoso, of course, people like former Deputy Governor Bola Rumi Azin, the Jogo Babalola, and all the members of the party started protesting the way the governor was running the affairs of the state and of the party. By midterm, of course, things had fallen quite apart. Of course, that's in the PDP. The APC too was faced with its own challenges. APC faced with the challenge of those who were originally members of the PDP coming into the APC and striking a balance and holding good a chunk of the party. People like Senator Teslim Folarin, people like Senator Fatai Buhari, and the late former governor of Oyo State, Alao Adebayo Alao Akala, all originally of the PDP board, virtually holding sway within the party, especially after the passage of former governor Isiaka Ajimobi of blessed memory. And of course, when it was time to battle it out for the party ticket, that was when the cookies began to crumble. Things came so much apart that a big chunk of the APC, led by an aspirant, Chief Adebayo Adelabu, broke away from the party and moved in to the Accord Party, where, of course, he secured the gubernatorial ticket. We have seen Oyo State in times past, from the days of Lam Adesina, that to unseat any government, sitting government in Oyo State, it will take a rallying together of forces within and outside the government to upstage such a government. Of course, that happened during the time of Lam Adesina. He was unseated by a coalition of forces. Then came the turn of Senator Ladoja too. It was, of course, his impeachment was PDP against PDP itself. That unseated Senator Ladoja. Of course, he came back legally back into office. Well, we saw again in 2011 when Alawa Kalawa was going to be unseated. It took forces from within, joining hands with forces from without to unseat him. But of course, he did not get re-elected. Senator Ajimabi survived all the shenanigans and got re-elected for a second term, and he became the Kosheleri of Oyo State. He's been the only one that has been elected twice into office in Oyo State. Of course, the sitting governor aspires to be the second man to be re-elected into office. Will he survive the onslaught against him? The situation currently prevailing in Oyo State has been described by some as a battle between the political class and the people. Is that the true picture? They say the politicians are making demands and the governor is refusing to accede to those demands and I'm quoting, in the interest of the people that he governs. Well, by Saturday afternoon, when all is said and done and people have cast their ballots, it will have been decided who has won that battle, whether it is the political elite or the people that will have won that battle. And is that actually the real situation? Of course, for anyone to get into office, you need to be supported by the relevant groups and forces, political forces I mean now. Of course, the governor got that backing. But in government, as he balanced things out, people say he brought in technocrats, people who did not participate in the processes. And of course, politics is investment and reward. We invested. What is our reward? The reward is not commensurate with what we put in. But some are saying, well, that was politics. When it comes to governance, we have to put appropriate people. Some political offices are not reward for politicking. You must put the appropriate people in office. Some don't see it like that. Therefore, this current battle. But who are the forces arrayed against the governor? People say the forces arranged against the governor currently are way beyond what he can manage. He does not have the political capacity. He does not have the political depth. Of course, the word is out there now that strong elements in Oyo State are rallied against him, even within his party. I saw the other day the former deputy governor of Oyo State, Megbola Rumi Azim, when he was asked, so who are you supporting? He said, we are going to be supporting and voting for equity and national unity. And of course, that is quoting what the governor said during the presidential election, that vote for my party during the National Assembly elections. But for the presidency, vote for equity, vote for fair play, and vote for Nigeria's unity. So his party members within the party who are arraigned against him are saying the governorship elections too, they'll be voting for equity, they'll be voting for justice, and they'll be voting for fair play. Which, of course, when interpreted, means they are not for him. They will be backing another candidate who is apparently Teslim Folarin. All these forces are against the governor. The governor is moving around confident that he will win re-election. Just like 48 hours back, I was in conversation with some of his cabinet members and some of the top aides from a particular geopolitical zone in Oyo State. They had all moved. Yeah, that was about 48 hours. They had decided to move onto the battlefield. I will be reaching out to one or two of them to see if they're going to be willing to talk. Also from that particular geopolitical zone, immediately after the National Assembly elections, somebody who lost his House of Rep re-election bid, visited the governor, pledged his loyalty. We are having bits and pieces of support going this way and that way. On election day, we are going to see how it will play out. I'll be back shortly after this break.
Let's get together and feel all
Yes, thank you so much for staying with us. Still Solutions 93.9 FM, and of course, Political Update. I was trying to reach out to those who are out there on the field, and I do have here with me live on air Professor Oyelowo Oyewo. He's the Honorable Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice. Good afternoon, Prof.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
How are you, my brother?
How are you doing?
Oh, we're doing fine.
And how is the Saturday is the D-Day? How is the preparation going? Where is your current location?
Oh, I'm currently in Ogbomoso.
Okay.
that's my constituency.
And that's the battlefront for Saturday.
Yes.
What's the situation in Ogbomoso and the preparations like? That's the home of Lautech.
It's going on very well. It's going on very well. Everybody, it's a beautiful thing to see how democratic governance is keeping on improving in Nigeria and in Oyo State.
Wow.
Everybody has been going about its own campaigning, sharing ideas. Yesterday it was the rally for PDP in Ogbomoso. Today APC, maybe tomorrow Labour Accord. Everybody is going on selling the ideas, and that is what democracy is all about. You tell people, even if you lie, people will know the truth. So if you know the truth will set you free. So the truth of each message that is being said will be tested on Saturday. And we know that the truth of the message about the performance of the administration of Governor Seyi Makinde will prevail on Saturday.
What is the selling point of the governor in your political, that's one of the geopolitical, what is the selling point? What is the selling point for the Ogbomoso zone?
The selling point for the Ogbomoso zone is promise kept. The governor promised on several levels. One, that Lautech will be, become owned by Oyo State in order to bring advancement. The promise has been kept. The Lautech will be funded. The promise has been kept. Lautech will be given opportunity of advancing. The promise has been kept. And also, in terms of infrastructural development, interconnectivity with other zones, that has been kept. Now there is Ogbomoso to Isheyin, from Isheyin to Ibadan, apart from the federal road. So there is an alternative road from Ogbomoso to Ibadan, which anybody can apply. You can go and test the road. The road is not a lie. It's not a figment of anybody's imagination. Then you have the infrastructural development in the area of Lautech, under G, and all the other things that have been done. That's promise kept. The promise has been kept with respect to education. A lot of schools in Ogbomoso have been kept open. The promise has been kept with respect to security. Security, when the architectural design failed in Nigeria, Oyo State was one of the states with the Southwest that was able to come up with original idea for state intervention in provision of security, even in the absence of sophisticated weapons. And that promise has been kept. So we have Amatekun, which other places are trying to copy now. Then we have the Operation Light Up Oyo State, which has been kept. You see, when you light up, darkness will go back. Those are things that people should focus on, not whether somebody belongs to one religion or belongs to. It is when people don't have anything to offer that they start lying, they start depraving. If look, when somebody has done something good, let's acknowledge that this person has done good. Seyi Makinde and the government of PDP have done Oyo State good. It's a testament, and what has been given at the national level, people see it. So nobody can fool the people of Ogbomoso. I tell you, come Saturday, people are going to vote en masse, and the opposition will be surprised that even the voting that happened during the presidential summit, it was based on Omoluabi, principled approach of Seyi Makinde, that if my party can't treat my people right, I'd rather vote for the person that tried. That's what led to that rapprochement and combination that brought, the massive vote for
Asiwaju.
But I believe that could be reciprocated, because people understand that he stands for Omoluabi, he stands for the interest of Oyo State, and come Saturday, people will reward him for Omitutu 2.0. That's why we call him the engineer of modern Oyo State. What he has done in the first phase is just the foundation. Let him continue and let's see the superstructure of development, democracy dividend, good governance, fairness. Look at it this way, my brother. On the 25th of the month in the whole of Oyo State, the Oyo State economy gets infused with over 10 billion, naira every month. That is economic development. That is supporting the life of everyone in Oyo State. This is not money just for the civil servants, not just money for the local government. This is money that goes into the state. Ejeka Nyiboboy, Ejeka Soto, Ejeka Shento Yekashi, Ejeka Lord Dibofushe Imakide at the PDP.
Ogbomoso zone, what is the strategic economic importance of LAUTECH in that area?
You have to appreciate that Ogbomoso is an institutional town. We have LAUTECH, we have Baptist, institutions, Baptist Theological Seminary. We have other, but what this does is that it has a multiplier effect in the economy of Ogbomoso. We have people coming from all over Nigeria to work here, and when you have dynamic, plural society, it helps in maintaining peace because the nature of the Ogbomoso people are that they are travelers, they are immigrants, they are sophisticated people who have traveled. So education is very key to them. But this educational institution of LAUTECH also brings about prosperity, because when the students come from all over, they bring their wealth into Ogbomoso. Whether you like it or not, if you come from Anambra State to come and study in LAUTECH, you are not going to eat apple from Anambra State. An apple seller will come probably from somewhere to Ogbomoso. If it is Amala, you know how to eat in Oyo. Ayamala in Ogbomoso is the one that, whether they are butter butter Ogbomoso, So bottom line of it, that is a multiplier effect in the economic, activity in the life of people, tied to them. And then you have certain national infrastructural input in terms of people, apart from Oyo State itself. There are some projects that either through education or through funding that comes into, I remember the last time I was in LAUTECH to go and dedicate an IHS lab. IHS is a national provider of communication. Meanwhile, because of the excellence that LAUTECH represents, that investment comes from IHS. IHS is a communication-based station, something that has endowed a technological lab to a faculty in LAUTECH. And you have those things, and those things is by virtue of the location and the situation of LAUTECH in Ogbomoso. So there are so numerous multiplier effects that comes, from being in Ogbomoso.
And you are confident.
One is very proud to see Omo Ogbomoso, not Ara Ogbomoso.
And you are confident that the people of Ogbomoso will reciprocate the kind and what I consider to be the kind good gestures of the governor on Saturday.
I have the confidence that the people of Ogbomoso, they know what is good for them, and they see it, and they are going to let it, manifest in the vote that they are going to bring out come Saturday in Ogbomoso.
Well, thank you so much. I've been in conversation with the Honorable Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in Oyo State, Professor Edward Oyelawo. You were speaking with me from Ogbomoso. Thank you so much, Prof. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye. Thank you so much for staying with us. Still Solutions 93.9 FM, and of course this program this Thursday afternoon is Political Update. And of course, like I told you, today is the last day for public political engagements before the elections. I have to put it out there that I tried persistently to reach the Director General of the Presidential and Gubernatorial Campaign of the APC for Oyo State, Dr. Isiaka. He has not picked up his call, so that we have another side of the story. Well, be that as it may, it is going to be a wrap shortly on the program this afternoon. It is absolutely important as a citizen and registered voter that you go out there on Saturday. You are not doing the candidate a favor. It is you yourself that you are doing a favor. And it is a civic duty and responsibility that is a citizen of Nigeria and a resident of Oyo State. You be a part of the processes that will put in place those who will govern for another 4 years, either at the executive or the legislative branch. Go out there on Saturday. Don't wait till Saturday morning before you start looking for your voter's card. Some of you, or many of you, that did not vote during the presidential election, this is closer home. They are not going to be in Abuja. They are going to be here with you in Ibadan. And they are going to determine, whether you like it or not, the course of events in the next 4 years. And believe you me, many of the actions and decisions that will be taken in those 4 years will resonate well before the 4 years they are going to be in office. It might even determine the course of Oyo State for another generation and much more. That is how serious the task before each and every one of us on Saturday is. It is to determine the course and the path that Oyo State will take, not just in the next 4 years, but possibly in another generation. Thank you so much for staying with us on the program this afternoon. It's been Ayodeji Ajishokwe presenting, with Favor Olorotola producing me. God bless you all. God bless our union. Bye for now.